I think each league that I played in is very specific and particular in its own right. I think Scotland's very aggressive, strong, so you need to make sure that you're able to, physically compete in those leagues. I think in the Polish league it was very fast, so you need to make sure that you're working on your speed and your agility and looking around yourself. In the A-League, it's a lot more technical, slower, but very good technical players, and it's a lot more thinking with your head, positions, where to be. So I think the fact that I played in a few different leagues has definitely helped me as a player evolve, because now I'm a far more all-round player than I would have been if I stayed just in the one league.
The VAR Show. The one place for your weekly football update.
So hello, a very warm welcome to VAR Show, the show which talks about all the best major football leagues in detail. Today we are going to have interviews, and we have the Central Coast Mariners defender, Mr. Zygmunt Ian Gordon, or popularly known as Ziggy Gordon. So without wasting much time, I would like to first thank Mr. Gordon for coming on the show. Thank you and welcome to the show. And I'd like to begin by asking you, how are you and what are you doing these days?
I'm very well, thank you for having me. I'm very pleased to be on the show. These days, not too much, trying to keep fit. My season finished 2 weeks ago. We won our last game, and now we're just waiting for the season to be put on. Everything's on hold. We don't know when the season's going to begin, possibly December or January. So I just need to keep fit, and whenever the season does start, I need to be ready to play.
Definitely, and you just said your season has just finished, and you have played in quite. Your playing career has been quite long, and it has been quite successful. Many of them dream to have what you have achieved. And in your opinion, how has your journey panned out? How do you look back?
I think my journey's had a lot of ups and downs. A lot of good positive moments that I'll remember for the rest of my life, and a lot of lows that are also very good lessons. That I still choose to have if I could go back. I think I've learned more of myself in the difficult moments than I have in the more lightning moments in my career. So yeah, I'm pleased with my career, but I've got a long way left. I'm only 27, and I think I can play for another 10 years.
Definitely, and hopefully you play for more and achieve all your dreams that you have panned out for yourself. And I wanted to ask you, you have played in multiple leagues like Scottish, Polish, and now the A-League. How different is it, as a player playing in those leagues? How do you have to evolve your game, or how do you have to change your game?
I think each league that I played in is very specific and particular in its own right. I think Scotland's very aggressive, strong, so you need to make sure that you're able to physically compete in those leagues. I think in the Polish league it was very fast, so you need to make sure that you're working on your speed and your agility and looking around yourself. In the A-League it's a lot more technical, slower, but very good technical players, and it's a lot more thinking with your head, positions, where to be. So I think the fact that I played in a few different leagues has definitely helped me as a player evolve. Because now I'm a far more all-round player than I would have been if I stayed just in the one league.
Definitely, and as a fullback, you have been playing for quite a while now. How has the game evolved in the past decade or two in respect to your position? And we have seen fullbacks who have been very attacking of late, or maybe you can say from the likes of Dani Alves to now Arnold or Alphonso Davies. How has the game evolved in your opinion?
I think fullbacks have evolved just like football's evolved. Football seems to go in a cycle. Every 5 years it's a different style of football we're getting played. I think now, after watching Bayern Munich against Barcelona, you can see the style of football is adapted to more strength and power than 10 years ago it was all about ball possession and passing statistics, and that's why Barcelona were so successful in their time. But in terms of a fullback, I think fullbacks are required to get higher up the pitch, create assists, and a lot of the styles of play now starts with the fullbacks. The fullback needs to be a lot better on the ball than they would have had to be maybe 10, 15 years ago.
Definitely, and on the national stage, you have not been so fortunate because you have not been able to represent Scotland, and also maybe because of the talent that is available at your positions at the national level. So, is it something that you look to achieve before you hang up your boots? Is that one of your dreams?
It's not a goal that I set. I try to make my goals very short term, so I can only focus on the short term goals. And I think if you achieve all your short term goals, you can then look at bigger goals. But I think you just need to go one stage at a time. Right now, I've had a successful season in Australia, and now I'm just looking to build in that season. And whatever happens from that, it happens without my control.
So of course, like when I was doing the research for this interview and with the questions and all, I also found out that you are eligible to play for maybe Poland. So is that something that plays on your mind?
It doesn't play on my mind at all, quite honestly. As I said before, I only focus very short term. So I don't get weighed down by expectations or things that are so far in the future.
Definitely, and again, during my research, I also got to know that you are very good at chess. Is it something that you still play?
I used to be very good at chess when I was younger. Sometimes I play online, but only for fun.
And many a times they say that like chess and football, at least the coaching part goes hand in hand. How do you see it? Is there any similarity?
I'll let you know when I become a manager.
Okay, so that's a very good segue to the next question, and it's like, after you hang up your boots, do you think that, or are you considering into getting into management?
I certainly like to think that I could walk into management and make a name for myself, and certainly be a career path for me. But as I said, I'm only making short-term goals. It's certainly in my eye line. I would like to do some coaching and then, develop and get more and more experience and see if it's something that, I'm good at. I like to think that I would be, because I've got a lot of experience with people, relationships, football, and management side. So it's certainly something that I look forward to embracing, but not something that I'm thinking too much about right now.
Definitely, and another thing that you have been vocal about is the coaching standards in Scotland in respect to other places that you have been. Has anything changed in your opinion?
I don't think I said anything too controversial, to be honest. I think the coaching in Scotland, there's some fantastic coaches in Scotland. I think some of the best coaches in the world have came from Scotland. So, no, my opinion hasn't changed.
Definitely, and you said you focus on the short-term goals, and which is probably right also. And what are your goals as a team, as Central Coast Mariners for the upcoming season?
I think it's to build on the form that we had at the end of the season. It's to get better. Every individual needs to get better because there's a lot of improvement to be made. I think the whole club, from the top down, need to improve, just like any other club. And I think that's the most important thing. Just looking for small percentages in gains everywhere, and that'll make us a successful team and club.
Definitely, and as a fullback, which player or opponent has been the most difficult for you?
Oh, I've played against some very, very good players in my career. It's a tough one. I've had some really good games against some really good players. I've had some really bad games against some players not so good. So I would say the best player I ever played against was Virgil van Dijk. he was just, a complete different animal, a different player. Just had everything. Even though I was not directly against him, I had to, mark him at set pieces and corner kicks, and that was a real struggle.
Definitely, and staying with the same theme and on a personal note, are you a superstitious person? Like, do you follow certain routines before the games or something?
I wouldn't say I'm overly superstitious. I like to follow, the same regimen before games, go to bed early, do all the things that professionals should do anyway. But I think if you're too superstitious, then it can go against you, because in football, you're in an environment that's constantly changing, and you cannot keep things consistent.
Of course, and since you have traveled, so you are very well traveled in terms of your playing career across a lot of leagues. So, which is the most bizarre incident that you have experienced in football industry?
Oh, most bizarre incident was probably in Poland when the game had to get called to a stop when there was fire on the pitch.
Yeah, that definitely is very bizarre because we have a fire on the pitch. And I wanted to ask you, during this pandemic period where there was lockdown worldwide, how difficult was it for you as a player? Because you are used to playing maybe every alternate not week, but every week or so, like that. How difficult was it for you to maintain your mental health and everything?
Personally, it wasn't so difficult for myself because I've got a good network of people. I've got good friends, supported family, a caring fiance. So personally, it was a lot easier because of those things. I can understand if you're by yourself in a foreign country, it can be very difficult. But I think if you want to be a football player and play at the very top, you need to be very disciplined. And being disciplined comes with a strong mental work ethic. And it's important that you look after your mental health every day.
Definitely, and since you say that it comes to be a top player, you need to have very strong mental health and mentality, and also you also need to require proper coaching. And if you had to choose one coach who had the most influence in you as your career as a player, who would that be?
I've been fortunate enough to play with some top coaches in my career. I think the most charismatic coach was probably Alex Neil, who was the manager of Norwich and then went to Preston. I played with him as well at my first club, so I would say Alex Neil.
Definitely, and this will be the most bizarre question I think you have ever faced. And after discussing so much, it might be a very basic question. But I want to ask you, what does football mean to you?
Oh, I think football. When I think of football, I just think about when I was young, when I used to get a ball, and anywhere I used to go, I used to bring the ball and kick it against walls and curbs and cars. When I think of football, I just think of my childhood, and I had a very, very pleasant and loving childhood. So when I think of football, I think about that.
Definitely, and you would have had many amazing moments during your career, but if you had to choose one moment which is the most proudest for you, which one would that be?
The most proudest was probably just over a year ago. I managed to score in the last game of the season to keep the club that I've been at since I was 10 years old in the Premier League. So that was a really big achievement for myself.
Definitely, and on that note, I'll ask you one final question. It might be quite a controversial question, and if you had to choose one of these two, whom would you choose, Ronaldo or Messi?
Ronaldo.
Why?
It's not an easy decision. I think Messi is the best player of all time, and I think Messi will be the best player ever to have played the game. But I think Ronaldo brings more, not just in himself, but in other players.
Definitely, and I'll ask you one more. Who do you think will win the Champions League this year after Man City were knocked out?
I think Bayern Munich will win.
Okay. So are they your favorite team, or do you follow them a lot?
No, I don't have a favorite team.
Okay. So I think you dodged a bullet there, maybe. And on that note, Ziggy, thank you so much for talking to me, and I wish you all the best for your next campaign, and hope you can probably win the league with Central Coast Mariners, and hope we can talk again soon. Thank you once again for coming. Take care, stay safe. Bye.
Thank you.